life.
All right.
Hello, Ahmad.
Oh,
We're
here we
live.
go.
We're live.
All right.
You can see it?
Okay.
Stream is up.
Well, yep. Yep.
Great.
Yep, it is.
Great. That's great.
Yep. Yeah.
Alrighty then. Hey, everybody. We have Asger back with us today. It's been a
Hello,
while,
guys.
mate. It has been a while.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, it has. It has indeed. But here I am, returned
Returned.
to our, weekly Wednesday sessions.
A usual scheduled programming. Hello, Jed. How you doing? Hey, Björn. Slow day today on the higher time frames. Yeah, because we had a bit of volatility over the last few days, right? You know, I've got S&P 500 open here. We had some volatility to finish the week. We had some volatility yesterday, so
It's fun. It's a lot of chop. I got a lot of chop going on. A lot of trades today, for me at least, that just, one of these days where you're sitting in profits, you're pretty happy with that. You want to see it expand. You want to see that those profits grow, and then it just keeps going back to entry and then in profit, and then to entry and then in profit, and just not really hit anything. And just, at this point, I've just kind of decided, like, you know what? I'm just not interested anymore. 20 minutes ago, I just got out of break even though I was sitting in profit whole day, just because honestly, sometimes it's just nicer to just take a step back, reevaluate what were you doing, were you doing what you were supposed to do and the market just wasn't giving what you was hoping for, or were you actually doing something stupid that you shouldn't be doing? I don't know, more times than not, I catch myself doing something where I'm like, you know what? That entry wasn't so good. I could do that much better.
yeah, for
And
sure.
and you can see trades that, trades where you could have waited a little bit and gotten a better entry. Maybe the trade is playing out like it should, but you just got impatient. And if that is the case, then there is an underlying problem you got to address with yourself, right? There's something going on, Coach Tom. What is the typical reason that, Tom, it happens that you end up in these situations where
Of impatience.
you're in a trade earlier than you should be? What is like
Yeah.
typical reason for this?
It's usually you're like fantasizing about the win. You're fantasizing about that being a big winner. So what you do is you just start throwing yourself into it because it's like you just have this image in your head of like winning the money, and you're thinking on such like a short time horizon that it's like all you really care about is the next like 15 minutes in front of your face and the next hour in front of your face. So then, with this fantasy in mind, you just start throwing your money into the market just willy-nilly, and that's where the impatience come from. But 100% of the time, impatience comes from this fantasy in your head about how big the winner's gonna be, how great the winner's gonna be, and you basically sabotage yourself in that exact situation. So we had this exact conversation with the funded traders last night in our group coaching session. Great turn up. We talked heavily about fantasies when it comes to trading, and fantasy being like the biggest fantasy hurting you a lot more than fear hurts you, right? Because you don't see someone who's in a state of fear when it comes to trading go and blow up an account. Someone in a state of fear just can't place a trade, right? And that's a problem in itself. But when someone's in like a state of fantasy and they're fantasizing and they're euphoric about like the next winner, then that's where the over leveraging comes in, impatience about getting in at the right time when you know you should get in the right time. You just start throwing yourself in there. Over trading starts happening, taking too many trades at the same time. All of those things start popping up when you're in that fantasy place, the euphoric place, that this is going to be so good place.
That sounds like something I'm very familiar with. It happens. I don't think this is something you can be reminded of too many times. I think this is a general zone that all traders end up in, right?
Absolutely.
And the goal is to understand that you will end up in these situations, and you will be in these situations, and then knowing how to solve it, how to manage that situation when you're in there, because you're going to be repeatedly put in that situation, just because you're a human and you have this brain going on in your mind. You have this wild computer in your head that's just like running off, and it's doing all sort of things that it's not built for today. I think it's really important to just acknowledge that, and then think about, well, how do I make a permanent solution to that problem? So every single time that I'm in these situations, which I know I will be in, how do I solve that? Not only this time, but for the coming. And that's why I think you did a really good job with the content we released on Black Friday. Yeah, excellent job on that, Tom.
Yeah, for sure. So many people, like, actually, I was chatting with someone in DMs, just, they sent me a spreadsheet with about, I don't know how many trades it was, mate. Was it like 100 backtesting trades that they'd done? And, with a really great win rate, and showing them, like, they could see the confidence in, I genuinely have an edge here. Right, out of this 100 trade sample size, how many trades they'd won, what the average win, like what the average percent gain was per trade, so the like effective value of every single trade that they took, and it's just like built so much confidence for them. And then they're like, yeah, now I can go and actually execute this in a market because of all of this psychological content that you've basically given me here. So, I think it's really going to be a game changer for so many people to just go back and continue to review all of this content in that Mental Alchemy series, and then the blueprint to kind of just get yourself in a position of thinking about, well, what is it that I've got to go and execute every single day? Because we talk about, like, not worrying so much about the outcome of every trade and instead worrying about the process. But if you don't have a process in mind already, then what is your process, right? You can say until you're blue in the face, like, let's focus on the process, let's focus on the process. But if you don't have an outlined process that you go and take every single day, then you're just saying words and you're not actually putting anything into action here.
Yeah.
All right, let's say hello to the stream. Hello, Eric. Hey, Matt, Nico. Good to see you all again. George, how you doing? Hey, Sanya, how are you? Glad to have you here, Sanya. Hey, Benny. Great to see you again, Benny. Hopefully your trading's going well, mate. Ben passed FTMO recently, and now he's having a crack at our funding program as well.
Very nice.
Hello, Anna. Divan, how you doing? Hey, PK. Great to see you, mate. And De Villiers from South Africa. He was actually going to be in Phuket in a couple of weeks, but South Africa with the new COVID
strain.
I
don't know if you let people in on a little secret, Tom, but Tom is actually coming to Thailand to stay with me, and we're going to be doing some really deep work on Breakfree Trading and how we can take everything that we're doing to an even higher level, helping more people in a more efficient manner. So I'm very much looking forward to that, Tom.
Me too. Definitely.
And if there's going to be more people in Phuket, well, that's great. Hit us up. Well, I'm sure we can figure something out. I got a pretty big house. We got room for people.
Absolutely. The more the merrier, huh?
to a certain extent, yeah.
To a certain extent, yeah. Hey,
so
Joshua. Yeah, it's going to be great, man. I'm really looking forward to it. Absolutely. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. So, yeah, live streams from Phuket. Live streams from Phuket.
Cook and trading. Trading. That's what
Yep.
That's
Hello, KS Dean. Hey, Euless. Good to see you again, buddy. Hey, Thomas Dillon. How we doing? Let's take a look at a few trades, huh? Or guys, if you're new to the stream, I see a lot of new names here that I haven't seen before. So please, if you're new to Breakfree Trading, you've never been in one of these live streams before, this is a place where you can just ask any questions you have for us. Ask questions about a trade. Ask questions about trading in general, ask psychology-based questions, tell us something you're struggling with, and we will, you know, come up with an answer for you. So ask any questions, just throw them in the chat. If we don't see any questions, then we'll probably just, you know, just blabble on and talk about trades and talk about a bunch of stuff together. So the more questions you can get in, the better, so we can hit on the exact things that you need help with. All right.
Yes.
Fishing, lots of fishing in the pipeline.
You can ask about anything you want. There's anything you want.
Go ahead and ask about anything. Let's take a look at the active trades here on the sonar. Let me just make this a bit bigger so the people can see it a bit better. And we'll jump in here. We've got New Zealand dollar yen. Let's just scan over this a little bit. ETH BTC. ETH is on a little bit of a tear against BTC at the moment.
It reminds me a lot of the previous, you know, crypto top in May. With, you know, it was, and we talked about this weeks ago that you know, Bitcoin would slow down, Ethereum would do its little, you know, runoff, and then it would dump altogether. You know, and that's kind of what's happening now. I mean, if you look at BTC, RTD, it's not giving it like, you know what? It looks a lot like me, because...
Are you looking back here? Wait, I'm sorry. Are you looking back here and going like, what?
No. I'm looking back to that initial drop below the global in RTD. And then when Bitcoin was just chilling for like, I don't know, several days, almost 2 weeks or something. Yeah, that period. And then it dumped together there in late May, right? And during that consolidation with Bitcoin back then, when Bitcoin started to turn bearish, that is when Ethereum was pumping as well. It's very, very familiar to me. It looks very similar to me. Obviously, anything can happen. If Bitcoin just starts pushing a little bit here, then everything is just gonna completely pump. But for now, I'm a little bit skeptic on crypto. Not that it's gonna die, just that I think there's a good chance of a pullback here to a degree, but it might also just completely pump. You know, so yes, up or down, basically.
Up or down. Well, whatever it does, it's going to choose the path that causes the most pain, right? We're going to shake out as many people as we can before we hit the inevitable, you know, 6-figure BTC.
Yeah.
We're going to shake out as many people as we can along the way. That's for sure.
Shake.
Shake. Yep. Hey, Gabriel. Hey, guys. Hi there, Tom. Sorry I'm late.
So let's look at these. Do we have some? I will keep an eye on the questions. Oh, that's a lot of talk here. Oh, fishing. Yes, fishing in a pipeline for sure. Fishing coming up. Omicron. Well, I think Omicron is everywhere already. I mean, I think they just realized recently, I think it was today or yesterday, that the news broke that Omicron actually didn't originate from Africa, and it actually came from, they detected in other countries before even it was found in Africa. So honestly, this whole corona phase, I think the faster we just get used to just living with it and just understanding it's just going to be, you know, another sickness out there that people get from time to time, the better off we are. Daniel said he's got kicked from Telegram for no reason. Can you be added back? Yes, just ping Steve, Dr. IQ, or someone. It should not be a problem. Just ping one of the admins.
Just message one of the admins, yeah.
Or open a support ticket. It's no issue at all. In my pending orders, trade guide is still calculating rather than keep this order. What's happening? Thomas, try to do a refresh. Just refresh Navigator, see what happens. That should probably solve it. Now, oh, hey, Steve. Hello, mate.
Hello, Steve.
All right. What do we have trading-wise?
Trading-wise,
NZD JPY.
Yep.
Well, I don't think that looks too bad. I think that looks pretty interesting. My question is if it's done here, right? Because if you zoom a little bit out for me, Tom. Right. So this is one of these. It's a pretty classic scenario. You see this sort of um, you s- back if you go a little bit further. That is fine. Actually. So it's pretty classic that you see this consolidation and then some sort of markup as it did, and then it dumps back down to where it came from. Like this is actually a pretty common thing that happens in trading. You see it a lot across a lot of different markets. Now the question is if it's going to keep going from here or it bounces from there. I think it's a pretty fair trade to take. I think it will probably do something like a bear flag in that current where it is right now, right? It'll probably build like a bear flag from there, and there's a good chance that bear flag will top out at that neutral level. So I think it's a pretty good trade. I wouldn't mind taking this. You know what? I think I'm actually going to put this trade in. I think I'm going to put this trade in right now because I think it looks pretty good.
Björn says there's a nice hedge opportunity on CAD, Swiss franc, and New Zealand dollar CAD at the moment.
Oh, nice.
Okay. I'm seeing like really similar price action across a lot of different trades here. Like this crude oil trade, yes. It's very similar to the price action that we're seeing on New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. Obviously, you know, we've got Brent here as well, so Brent's going to be heavily correlated. Makes sense. CAD, Singapore dollar.
There's definitely some macro stuff going on right now. There's definitely some macro factors playing out right now. With the Fed and with everything, it just kind of feels like, you know, this never-ending pump that started in March, after the bottom in March 2020, that has gone on from 1.5 years. 1.5 years, it has been vertical up. And at some point it stops, you know, and it just feels like it feels also just what I know about positions from some of the people but some of these large entities that was holding positions in some of these really bull market stocks like Tesla, like ARK. ARK is one of the really big funds that was. What is Tesla doing, by the way? Hang on. Okay, so Tesla is still up there. Still up there at 1144, and it does look like it has room to go higher. I mean, it's kind of doing a pennant. It could also be a top, but I don't know. I think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see some big moves soon. Yeah, some big moves soon.
For sure, for sure. I agree. You know, we've had a few days of volatility here, right? You know, we can see right there, a few days of volatility. Now we're in that kind of like consolidation area where the market's like taking a breath and going like, what's going to happen next, guys? Like, what are we doing next? Are we going to dump some more, or are we going to, are we going back up again? So, and what I'm seeing here is just basically, as I scroll through, it's like the price action is just very, very, very similar across the board on like almost all of these markets. Pound, Aussie dollar. So we got the pump. Now the consolidation.
Sorry to interrupt, Tom, but what is important when you say that all these markets are looking the same, the price action? What is important in this case? What is important for people to remember about this?
Well, it's important to remember that, you know, in these periods of times when we have increased volatility, right? When we have increased volatility like we do right now, and we see these markets in correlations like this, it's very important to not be just like throwing yourself into every single one of these trades, because as much as every single one of these trades could, play out and you could make money on them, every single one of these trades could also lose as well. And then what you have is a position where you've just got these clusters of losses and then a few wins and then just like a cluster of loss. And this is what I notice the most as like the biggest problem from a person that is kind of like a break-even trader, using Breakfree Trading, right? So we have periods of time where it's like an extended period of time where it's like we win, we have plenty of wins, we have a few losses, and we have like a really good kind of like win-loss ratio, and we're making money, we're slowly grinding up. Then we have a period like this, we have volatility come into the market, everything looks very similar, and then it's like, oh, great, there's so many opportunities available right now. Go and place them all. And then the market just does this like maximum pain move and cleans out every single one of these positions. And then you go, oh, what happened here? I lost all of these trades. But the fact is that you basically just took the same trade. It's just called a different market. You just basically placed the same trade and you just leveraged up a shitload on one big macro trade.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that what people need to pay attention to when a lot of trades, when a lot of markets look similar, what you're saying is that what people need to pay attention to is only picking the best trades that is there and being really picky about the ones that they take and making sure that they don't overlap, meaning that you end up in 2, 3, or 4, 5 positions, which actually turns out to basically be the same trade or
Yes.
going in the same direction, right? So
Exactly.
so everyone keep that in mind. Be really picky about the ones that you do choose. Pay attention to just the general market and what is available out there. Now we got a question. All right, so we got a few questions. Now, first of all, I'm gonna answer this one because it's an easy one. It's from RPK Land Rover. It's a great name. RPG. I was thinking about RPG. Anyway, so Land Rover. So can I suggest some practical trades executed on crypto from the bridge? So first of all, I want to announce to you guys that right now we're working on a update for the Binance Bridge that's gonna solve all of these little annoying issues that's not being taken care of right now. So you're gonna have your position size automatically calculated for you on the Sonar trades. You're going to be able to execute them. You will have stop loss placed for you. You'll have targets placed for you. So everything that you know from the Forex world today, we will bring this in, and this update will be out pretty fast. Probably next week it's going to be out. And after that, we have an update lined up for Sonar that's going to make it a lot better. And I guarantee you it's going to make you a lot more money as well. That's what I really care about. I want you guys to win. That's really important for me, that you guys are winning. And so let's wait with the crypto, but it's coming. And also I want to say, for the people that are not participating in crypto, you should really consider it. What we can see in our systems is that the crypto trades are actually doing a whole lot better than Forex trades in general, just because there's a lot more people making mistakes in these markets. And also, I do want to remind you that originally, when I designed X mode, it was created for crypto as well. It works very well on all markets, but absolutely crypto is the best. You also get a better spread. You get better liquidity. Everything trading in crypto is almost easier and better. So wait for this new update we're going to do to the Binance Bridge. And it's going to be a lot easier for you to make money in these markets and execute trades, and everything will be taken care of for you. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, you're very welcome, mate. I can see PK is happy in the chat. On to the next question, Tom.
We got something about S&P 500 on the 4-hour time frame. I spent a lot of time on S&P 500 in the weekly market review, just because this is the big daddy market that kind of drives everything else. Basically, for me, the only trade is here, depending on how we get there. If we dump into that level, I'd be happy to buy it up to there somewhere. So something like this is pretty reasonable. I think we got a good shot at TP1 if we see that type of move straight into that level there. I'm pretty much thinking that level's probably going to be a nice little bounce spot. So I might execute on the 1-hour time frame though in that particular position, but I'm not doing anything around this level here though.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's pretty fair. Yeah, like a lot of times, like one of the most important things to do in trading is just knowing when to stay away. Just just when to do nothing. Like not wasting your capital, not being greedy, and just knowing like the market is in a bad spot, or it's very choppy, or you don't really have an idea what's going on. What we can say right now is going on with the SPX. What we can say with certainty is that support level that Tom marked out before is for sure a buy if it gets there within the next, I would say, 7 to 10 days. If it takes much longer than that, maybe the situation is going to look different. Maybe the trend is going to look different. But I want you to pay attention to the RTD, because often what happens in these markets where you have a strong trend running for a long time, and you have the local, which is going. It was bullish, and then it goes bearish, and it started slow to take into the global, and it slowly starts to the global trend start to slowly fade. What often happens in these scenarios is that the market ends up dumping in a very, what could you say, very violent way. It ends up dumping into the support. It might even go all the way to extension one. But this correlates often at the same time with the the local hitting the very end of the global, and that is usually, if you have that matching up with the X mode support levels, if you have these two things coming together at the same time, like 9 out of 10 times you're gonna make money buying that trade. 9 out of 10 times. It just doesn't happen that often, because this is usually something that happens at the end of a trend. So it means once it hits that level, support level, and the local hits the global at the same time, it will probably bounce. But at the same time, the trend will have weakened so much at that point that the next time that it comes back down to do that, it's not a bullish trend anymore. And that changes everything for us, because when it's not a bullish trend anymore, we're not buying it anymore. We're not saying that with confidence, I'm buying it. I know right now I can buy this level. I can put orders in. I can walk away and be happy with that, because of how I know that the market is structured right now, because of how I know that there's people underwater in short waiting to cover. I know we guarantee that there's going to be people ready to buy that level. So I can tell you right now that I would be happy to buy $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 million worth of SPX when it gets to that level, when it looks like this. But only in that very special circumstance that the market is looking like we're talking about here, where the local is starting to dip into the global, and we have a market coming into support on a higher time frame. In those cases, I'm happy to take on size. That's where I make a lot of money. I will take some big positions because I'm very confident in the trade. Sometimes it's wrong, and that's just how trading is. But for the most part, it's correct.
Yeah. For sure, that's exactly my thoughts as well on this one. Like you said, 7 to 10 days, I kind of want to see basically that kind of price action right there, pushing straight into around that, something like this. And then pretty much taking like one of the extension trades, just like this, bit longer, but getting the stop loss behind there. Yeah, that's pretty much the type of trade that I'd be looking for here in that type of situation. That price action down into that level there.
Yep. So a few more questions. De Villas is asking about Binance banning countries. Will you be looking at bridging Kraken? Well, I think honestly, if Binance starts banning a lot of countries, I think Kraken will also be banning them. Like historically, Binance has been a lot more open than most other cryptos, but of course, because it's gotten so big, they now have a lot of legal issues they need to deal with different countries, etc. For now, we do not have a planned bridge for Kraken. I think what we're gonna do, if it really becomes like a big enough issue, what we'll do is we'll probably talk with our users and we'll talk with our users and we'll ask them, like, which second exchange would you be able to trade on that would work best for you? And then depending on what would be best for the people and the people in trouble, the people who can't use the Binance Bridge, we'll decide on what should be the next next exchange to bridge to. And Liar Rife also asked, is it possible to trade crypto with the funding account? Yes. We have 4 coins you can trade: Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP if you need to short something, and Bitcoin Cash. So yeah, there's crypto exposure.
Yeah, I think there's Litecoin in there as well, maybe. Yeah. Anyway, there's 4 or 5 coins that you can trade definitely on the funding program. You just have to make sure you're bridging them. Mapping them correctly, Lior. So I saw a few people in the inner circle chat and also the global chat kind of link the list of all the tradable assets. So just make sure you've mapped them all correctly, all right? Shazad is saying, what's the gold spread? What's our gold spread? Currently,
I'm not sure.
It's right
I'm
here.
not sure, but okay.
It's about 20 cents.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Like in general, okay. So in general, about our funding account, we have really done the absolute best we can to make a very fair environment that is similar to what our competitors are offering. You know, FTMO and 5%ers and whatever is out there. Like we done our best to create like a very fair environment for you to trade in, and I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good, and of course there's been some issues along the way, but we're always happy to fix them. And I think our spreads are good. Of course, there's some times where there will be some times where there will be some entries that will be missed by a little few pips or something like that. That's how it is. Of course, we can try to see what we can do to improve this. We're always happy to improve things for you. If it really matters to you, we're happy to take a good hard look at it. KS Dean is asking us. Oh, sorry. Do you have something, Tom?
Yeah. Just answering the question before that one. Can't trade the market S&P 500. So make sure you've mapped S&P 500 USD to SPX 500 M. Okay, that's the mapping for the funding accounts. That's what you need to map to. Okay, so make sure you put in here S&P 500. And SPX 500M and map them together. Okay, click it and then click plus, and that's going to map them together. All right, so that's why you're getting the error message on when you're trying to trade that market. Same for any market. Just go and try to find it in the tradable assets list, and then make sure it's mapped correctly. Okay, you go now.
Nice. Oh, I go? Okay. Well, I just wanted to say, time really flies when you're having fun. It's like it's already been 30 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So there's 30 minutes left of this live stream. Make sure to get your questions in. Keep them popping in as it is. Now, KSD is asking, can you explain a two-leg pullback? Well, I think a two-leg pullback is the same like an ABC correction. It means that you have like an initial pullback, initial dump in the market, and then well, if I could draw it for you, but yeah, it's you have a market that dumps, and then you have a retracement where it pulls back up, and then it dumps again. I guess that's a two-leg pullback,
something like that. Yeah.
Also called like an ABC correction. Yep. That's an ABC. And yeah, that is pretty true. Markets tend to move in general fashion. It's true. Mm-hmm. It's good to keep in mind of.
Yeah, you can see it all down here, right? There you go. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Sure.
Alrighty then. So anyone can link in the yeah, Steve, can you please just put the link to the tradable assets in the global chat again? If you're around, or Martin, or anyone who's watching the stream, can you throw that link in the global chat, please? Awesome. All right, guys, get your questions in. Very slow moving market today. Very, very slow moving market. Not a lot happening.
Scammy to me. It's all looking very
It's about to explode, right? That's usually when you have this like suppression in volatility. You've got volatility, suppression, volatility, suppression. It's like,
let's look at the WIX.
There's probably more to come.
Let's look at the VIX. Let's see what it's saying. We should probably get some VIX positions, to be honest. Oh, what is?
Has the US market opened yet?
Yeah. Oh, that's a
mistake.
That's yeah.
VIX doesn't go that low, guys. Yeah. So the US market is open.
It's already at 27, huh? 27.64.
Yeah. Previous
interesting
top up here.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, because yesterday's price action, right? This was yesterday's price action that popped it to the upside. Oh no, the day before that, sorry. So we had like Friday last week, where we had this big gap up kind of thing, and then we had the little pullback, then we had the big pump to the upside again.
But SPX, I mean, it has barely moved at this point.
Well, yeah, I want to go to the 1 day. Let's just ignore that big old.
You can try the weekly instead.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a look at that that wig there because that's not very pretty.
Uh,
Oh, it's also there.
I
That's a shame.
mean,
It's fine, but still, look at that. That looks interesting. That looks like something that's gonna continue though. If you look at those past 4 weeks.
yeah. If we hold above this level here, we could really see it continue up to there potentially, right? And 50 is like that's getting up there. That's getting up there for the VIX.
So we're basically at a point right now where it's like, if markets doesn't recover from here and keep going their way, it's gonna massively down. I'm thinking about all the leverage in the system right now, just across the floor.
Yeah.
I think we're in a very unique situation. Jesus Christ, I'm looking at SPX 500 on the daily time frame, and I'm just zooming out since 2020 March. Can you have a look at that, Tom?
Yeah.
And it just looks, it looks unreal. It just looks like a massive TWAP algorithm that's just been nonstop buying.
Yeah. This is what happens, like a self-fulfilling prophecy at the end of the day. When you have money that you need to deploy, you need to get it. You need to get it away from cash because cash is becoming worthless. You need to put it somewhere, and it's like, well, where do you put it? You put it in the best performing asset. What's the best performing asset? S&P 500. What's the best performing asset? Bitcoin. What's the best performing asset? I don't know, plenty of other things as well. But yeah, S&P 500 is where it goes. Got some loose cash, throw it in the SPX. That's what fund managers think. Don't know what to buy? Throw it in the SPX.
Yeah. It's that simple. Yeah. It's that simple.
We'll just increase our SPX exposure. Yeah, exactly.
Was talking about USD Singaporean dollar for trade yesterday. I think it was a Sona. So USD GD.
Yep.
So maybe check Sona.
Yeah. For our trade, yep, found 2 days ago. Cool. There it is right there.
And how did this play out?
Pushing. Oh, TP1?
Yeah, it did. I mean, it's not very pretty at all.
I took the USD yesterday. TP1 and 2 was very quickly, but TP3 was not. And it's looking like stop loss will be hit. When do you move to break even once price moves into drawdown? Well, so if you remember from the academy, when you hit TP1 and 2, then you move your stop loss actually to the break even point. So once you've taken your TP1 and 2, you've taken some profit off the table, then you don't want to lose any more on that trade. All right. So what you need to do is you need to shift your stop loss to break even as soon as you've taken that TP1 and 2. First thing you do, shift stop loss to break even. All right. And that's incredibly important to be monitoring these type of trades on every time frame below the 1 day time frame. Like to be monitoring these things pretty regularly. If you're trading 4-hour time frame, you basically need to be watching this market on the chart every 4 hours. So every candle that closes, you're aware of what's going on in that market. That's why we say, you only really need to check the chart kind of once a day. If you're trading on the 1 day time frame, come in, check the chart once a day. If you only want to trade 1 day time frame, if you want to trade 4 hour, check the chart every 4 hours. If you want to trade 1 hour, you're in front of the chart the entire time. Because exactly this type of thing can happen. Quick wick into TP1 and 2, you make money. All of a sudden, this trade that's making money turns into a trade that basically breaks even because you didn't move the stop loss to back to the entry after you made your money, and then it runs off down to stop loss. So
and that sucks.
That sucks. That's the worst thing.
I have hang on. I was just looking at a really sexy trade. Euro AUD from yesterday, 15-minute time frame.
Yeah, so we'll move your stop loss to break even as soon as you've taken TP1 and 2. If you're in drawdown, then you pretty much only give it a couple of candlesticks before you move it to break even. Euro Aussie dollar on the 15-minute time frame. This one here, yeah? Push to the
Yes.
push to the upside, consolidation above the level, and then we'll see what happens. Oh, nice.
Yeah, pretty nice. Pretty nice. And I noticed people out there that want to discuss GBP as GD. GBP as GD. Yeah.
What time frame? Is that a rule for BFT, like to move the stop loss to break even as soon as possible, but you just mentioned that it should not happen until you hit TP1 or 2? Please confirm or clarify. Okay. Yeah, so the rule for BFT, based on what we talked about in the academy, managing trades in week 2, is move your stop loss to break even once you take TP1 and 2. All right. And then also in managing trades, when you're in drawdown, there's managing the trade in drawdown. So there's different situations, okay? There's managing the trade when you're in profit, and there's managing the trade when you're in drawdown. These are two distinctly different scenarios. So there's no one rule fits all for two distinctly different scenarios like this. If you hit TP1 and 2, move your stop loss to break even. If you're in drawdown, make a decision whether you're going to stay in the trade or move to break even. That's the decision you need to make as the trader in that scenario. Or trade guide tells you move to break even when you're in drawdown. Okay? Pound Singapore dollar, 1 hour time frame, yeah?
I think it was, is that the same trade below? I think it's almost the same trade.
Yep.
All right, let's bring it on the chart and have a look at it. So the trend is very strong. This downtrend. How is it looking on the daily time frame? I think it looks good. I don't know how about you, Tom, but I think this looks good.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I think it, you know, what I like to see, what I really like to see when I'm taking really any position, right, is I love to see a big bearish move, just like tons of selling like this, right? I then like to see a consolidation a fair way away from the level, and then a really quick move back into that level again. And then that tends to drop back out really, really quickly, right? So that's the kind of thing that I really like to see in these type of trades. What I would probably, like, the reason why I'm hesitating here is because I would probably love the entry like there somewhere kind of thing. Around here is probably where I would like absolutely love the entry to be. But in general, I like the price action. I like the trade in general. It's just like, I'm just kind of like on the fence about the entry. That's where my mind is in this particular one. So if I was trading here, if like I was sitting here and I was actively trading, you know, my real account, if I was on the fence about anything, then I probably just wouldn't take it. I just wouldn't put myself in that kind of mental unclear position.
Look at 4 hour.
Yeah, it looks like a bear flag on the 4 hour time frame for sure.
Well, something, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like some sort of bear flag on the 4 hour time frame. You know, we do have this neutral level here, not 75% alignment, but you know, very close to being 75% alignment. All we need is that to drop down in there. We've got 75% alignment. I guess the stop loss is probably somewhere around there, I would say, on this one. You know, like I said, you know, I've got that structure there that I'd love to have my entry around, but given how strong the downtrend is, you know, sometimes we just don't get back to this structure. We get to the level before the structure and then we dump like that, and we don't actually make it all the way back to the structure in really strong downtrends like this. So I think it could definitely work. I'm not going to talk myself into taking a trade though.
Okay, so Ben Davidson is talking about the downtrend on the 4-hour Euro CHF.
Yeah. On the 4-hour time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Yeah, 4-hour. I mean, if we got back up to here in a sudden pump, I think it's sellable for sure. But I think Benny's talking about this level here. I mean, it's been tested a few times already.
Okay.
What do you think?
No, I think it's all right. I think it looks like. I mean, we're coming up to that support level. I think it's probably going to hit that support level.
You reckon it's going to hit
I
here?
think yeah, I think it has a good chance of doing that.
Yeah.
Not exactly sure how it's going to get there, but yeah, I think it's a pretty good chance.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
yeah, it could for sure. It probably is going to form some sort of range in here. More likely than not, right? Like what it's already started to do around here. Some sort of continuation of that. Take out these stop losses under this area down here. Take out those stop losses there. Most likely. Punch it into support.
Yeah, would be nice for sure. All right. Ilias for real is talking about Eurocad 4-hour structure. Eurocad.
Mm, 4-hour. Looks like a bull pennant a little bit. But we're still in a downtrend though.
Yeah, but you can say it's kind of recaptured that neutral level. So I think right now, I mean, you could be very immature and try to take a long position here. Personally, I would wait for it to prove itself before getting involved with it. I can totally see the opportunity. I totally see it. I just would like this market to prove itself a little bit more. How is it looking on the daily time frame?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I need the bulls to show me a lot more than just this.
I mean, I mean, you can see repeatedly before in time where this market has done very similar to what it's doing now, and then just kind of returned back to where it came from.
Yep. Broke out of the structure here and then returned back into the structure right there, basically.
Yep.
Broke out of the structure, returned back into the structure. Yeah, the bulls really need to prove themselves a lot more than this to consider going long here, for sure. That's what I think. And you know, you can see how much this market's just been bleeding since COVID. Since COVID, yeah, just been absolutely bleeding since COVID. Obviously, you know, this market is inversely correlated to the S&P 500, right? Big pump, S&P 500 dumped. S&P 500's dumping right now. We got a big pump here.
So yeah, it could be a proxy to take exposure, but the trend is just not clear. It's just not that clear. Let's see. All right, guys, you got 10 minutes left to get your last questions in, and now we got some boys talking about. We just talked about Euro CHF jet. Now we're got some boys talking about XAU Euro.
Yeah, what do you guys think about XAU Euro 1-day court entry last night?
Actually, I don't know what gold is doing right now. Actually, I haven't had gold for some time.
Somebody asks every single week in the stream about gold, and gold is just like I always look at gold against US dollar in most cases, and it's just every week I'm just like, don't really care about it. I was like, doesn't interest me. Like I go and look at it, and it's just like some choppy shit, and I'm just like, don't care. Like I have absolutely no interest in the market with what it's doing at that time. Okay, cool.
Alright,
So
alright.
1 day time frame here. 1 day time frame, or are we 4 hour? Was it or 1 day?
Well, I think 1 day is interesting to look at here. I mean,
Uh-huh.
so I guess that entry, it was probably a 4 hour trade around that level that it just bounced from.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it is a little bit interesting what it's currently doing. If it holds this level, I think it's a good level. If it holds it, there's room for more upside, and you can actually see the trend is kind of building after a very long choppy period. It's starting to build, so it needs to pull up from here. Otherwise,
For sure.
I don't really know. How about XAU USD? How's that looking?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have a look at that as well. This is what I mean. This. Hello, Chop. Yeah.
God, that's just not very convincing. It's just not looking. It's just not looking that sexy. It's not really telling me, like what it wants to do. I can't really tell from what I'm looking at here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I would definitely be interested in the XAU Euro if I was trading gold. That would be much more of my interest, and I do think it has the potential from that trade.
I agree with this potential from here as well. I do. We've got the really euphoric move to the upside, and then just like immediate. I guess I kind of think of this like almost like emotions, like human emotion, right? Euphoria, and then like immediate fear, and then it's like it's just like compensations of like euphoria, fear, and so what's most likely going to come next is probably a little bit of euphoria again, a little bit of a pump. If you've got your TP1 somewhere around there, I could absolutely see that getting taken for sure. If you're setting up something like this, if you're setting up something like that, I could absolutely see that get taken. Definitely.
Yeah, but not too bad. Not too bad. How can you look at 4 for a second on this just before we move on?
Yeah.
Just want to see what we got.
You're probably right about catching that entry there. I'm gonna guess that's Matt's position, something like that.
Yeah, pretty good. Eric has a question, Tom. Maybe you can go over this one.
Yep. Can we talk about the thoughts of selecting which entry point to be considered versus the list of considerations? Can we talk about the thoughts of selecting which entry point to be considered versus the list of considerations? Do you know what Eric's saying here?
Eric, maybe you can clarify a little bit. I'm also I'm also not entirely sure.
Do you mean the entry points being considered versus list of considerations? Do you perhaps mean something to do with like picking the sonar trade from the list? Maybe? I'm not sure. If you could clarify, Eric, that'd be great. Sorry to ask you to look back at pound Aussie dollar on the 4 hour time frame again. I placed trade on it, but price has returned to TP1 and 2 level, but not the entry levels. It missed them. Should I scratch it? Thomas Dillon, Euro Aussie dollar. So, not Euro, is it that pound Aussie dollar? So Thomas Dillon has a 4 hour trade that's not open right now on pound Aussie dollar. That position right there. Cool. Didn't quite make it into the entries here. Now it's pushed up again.
I think that's still valid for I think that's still okay. But if it comes back down, I think it's all right.
Yeah, I think it's probably okay as well. I think it's probably okay to hang on to this one for a little bit longer. At what times prefer 75% and sometimes 100%? I think this is something more to do with the difference between 75% and 100% alignment from a time frame perspective. So you gotta remember that a 75% alignment level on, say, a 4-hour time frame is very likely to be a 100% alignment level on like a 1-hour time frame or a 15-minute time frame, something like that. So you've got to kind of be thinking about, where am I executing here? Because really, if you're taking a 75% alignment trade, you're probably taking a 100% alignment trade on a lower time frame. And then thinking about, how much could this bounce? And what is a reasonable target for my TPs? So, yeah, it's probably you're probably thinking about the same trade. You're just thinking about different time frames that you're trading on here. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Asger?
Makes sense. Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Jamie's asking, where the Breakfree guys from? Well, we're from everywhere in the world.
Yep.
We have people in US, we got people in UK, we got people across Europe, Australia, Asia.
Yep.
I personally am from Denmark. Tom is Australian, but there's a ton of other people involved as well.
Yep.
So yeah, all over the world. Very international, just like the markets. Mr. Gangsta as shit 6666. Nice. Great. Great name.
I think I laughed about this one last week.
Great name. GBP USD sell at 4 hour at the neutral resistance level. So he's trying to choose between GBP USD and then AUD USD. So maybe you can bring up both, Tom, and put them next to each other so we can have a look at them.
I think I know which one I'd be choosing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really,
mate. Really. What about you?
I actually haven't looked enough at this yet to make like an opinion. Can you zoom a little bit out on both of them?
Sure.
I don't know how you made up your mind so fast, but why don't you go ahead and tell us, Tom?
No worries. I would probably be taking the pound US dollar position.
Is that because you don't want to short your own currency?
No, of course not. The Australian dollar.
I bet it. Yeah.
No, mate.
Yeah.
Mate.
Some bias there, huh? I'm just joking.
No, I really like I personally would have a lot more confidence in this particular position right here, right? First of all, we're in a bit stronger downtrend here, right? We've got this really nice price action that I just talked about before that I like to see. We have the dump to the downside, clean through the level. We've got a bearish engulfing candle right there around the level previously. Bit of a consolidation. I'd love to see a quick move back into that and catch it back to the downside. That's what I would really like to trade here. Some good structure around here. Some good structure just there as well. That was a support previously before. So obviously the market cares about that level. Whereas, when I look at this one here, yeah, I can kind of see that, but it's just not as clear for me though. So yeah, that's why I would probably prefer the pound US dollar trade.
Okay, well that's very good to know. It's very good to know. I think I can agree with that. I think that's pretty rational. I would also rather be showing that level than
than the 75% alignment in this case. Yep.
So last chance, guys. Last chance to get your questions in. Kirsten is talking about GBP as GD as we looked at. Yes, you are right. The market is there's a lot happening right now. It seems like there's a lot of something is being moved. That is for sure. Something is going in somewhere and something is going out somewhere else. Um, and the best we can do when it comes to our zonal trades and these trades that doesn't hit, the best we can do is just put them in, and if it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit. It's a shame, but the only way this really works is that we keep executing in a systematic way. If we start to try front run a little bit, then yes, it might work for a certain trade, but then another trade, it will just go much deeper than the previous one, and then you will have a worse entry. The best way we can just say is that if the market gives us what what we want, then we will take advantage of it. If it doesn't get that, if it doesn't give us what it is that we really want, that's just the nature of how it is. It happens all the time, right? It's about accepting it and not tilting over it, because there's nothing more frustrating than having a trade that doesn't hit its TP or it doesn't hit its entry, and then it goes straight to the TP you had planned. But if you let that influence yourself, it's going to lead to something much, much worse, like something much more damaging than that one trade that you would have made money off. If you let it influence you, it will damage you to a degree where it can be very hard to fix. So you got to keep executing in a systematic way, the same way, and again, and sometimes you won't get that. Other times you'll hit it every single time and just be on point. That's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, guys, it's been a pleasure with you guys tonight answering questions. We love it. Very happy to push out some new updates for you guys as well in the coming weeks, and keep improving our product for ourselves, but also for you, of course. We use our own software every single day. So it's not just something that we're just selling and then using other third-party software for stuff. No, I have personally generated hundreds and thousands of dollars in Navigator trading, and I still do till this day. Of course, there's things that can be improved. We are competing against some products out there with teams of 200, 300 engineers, companies valued in billions of dollars. It's not it's not an everyday task to compete on them on this level, but this is a task that we have taken upon us. I was personally myself a very big fan of trading for many years. It's what I used to trade all the time, but they did not have the options. They did not have the tools that I wanted to create for people, like automatic position sizing. That was not a thing. If you had to size your position back in the days, we used to have like third-party tools where you had to go to our website, put in the entry point, the stop loss, and your count size, calculated manually for every single trade, and then put it into MetaTrader separately. And so there's so many things that just wasn't working in a way. Like it felt like these products were designed to set you up to fail. And in a large degree, if you look at this industry, it's all about making money and people failing. So what we tried to do was creating better software to help people win, and this required making our own platform to do these different products that you need to have. So that's why we're doing what we're doing, and we are happy to have you guys with us. We're happy to keep working for you, and we have a lot of exciting things in the future. So thank you everyone very much for joining us this time, and next week we'll be back sending from Thailand.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it. I will talk to you all soon. Have a fantastic finish to your week. And make sure you like the stream as well before you leave, okay? Make sure you give the stream a like before you leave. We'll chat to you next week. Thanks, guys.
Good, mate.
Bye.
Bye-bye.